Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know how this works? We take something interesting and just get right into it. Today we're looking at the lyrics of Lunar Deluge by Canibus. If you haven't heard it and want to follow along, it's on C Radio, Spotify, and Rippers Unite YouTube. And this is what I'm really excited about. Not every day we get to unpack such complex ideas, especially through music and wordplay.
Yeah, it really is amazing how Canibus is able to blend these really dense ideas with his technical skill as a rapper. Like he's almost trying to redefine what a hip-hop song can be.
Yeah, for sure. And right off the bat, the song throws us into this sort of disorienting place, that dream that felt more real than it seemed. It makes you question what's real and what isn't. What do you think about that opening and how it sets the stage for what comes next?
Well, it's brilliant. He just establishes this theme of blurred perception right away, making you question what you think is real. And the way he points out that the dream didn't have animation or green screen just adds another layer. It's like he's saying this isn't some made-up fantasy. It's something raw and real.
It definitely grabs your attention right away. Like, wait, what is he trying to say here? And then he goes on to say, we need special specs to see reality special effects. It's like he's suggesting there are hidden layers of meaning that we need some other way of seeing to understand.
Yeah, and that ties into a lot of philosophical and spiritual thought. The idea that the way we usually see things is limited, that there are deeper truths hidden beneath the surface, like Plato's allegory of the cave Eastern philosophies like Buddhism and even modern physics with things like quantum mechanics.
Well, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that a hip-hop song could touch on such deep ideas. And he's not afraid to really dive into these big questions head on, like when he says, my mind is in a higher dimension trying to decipher the encryption.
Oh, that line is really interesting. It suggests that there are levels of reality that are just beyond our normal understanding. He's not just saying we need to see things differently. He's talking about reaching a whole other level of existence.
It reminds me of those times when you have a sudden realization or a flash of intuition. It's like you've tapped into something beyond your everyday awareness. Have you ever had an experience like that?
Absolutely. I think those moments are little glimpses into exactly what Canibus is talking about. A way of understanding that goes beyond what our senses and our rational minds can grasp.
And then later in the song, he takes us on this incredible journey through the beginnings of the universe, where sound was the only thing living, and the Milky Way was just starting to spin.
That imagery is so powerful. He's calling to mind the Big Bang, the primordial soup of energy and matter where everything began, and by saying that sound was the only thing living, he gives sound this almost mystical quality, like it's the very foundation of everything.
It's almost like he's saying that music at its core is a primal force, a language that goes beyond time and space. And then he describes how elements were formed, smashing together like balls on a pool table, which brings this abstract concept down to something we can actually picture and understand.
It's such a cool mix of scientific ideas and poetic imagery. He's making these complex concepts relatable and engaging, and it also connects back to the idea of sound being the foundation of reality.
It's amazing how he weaves these different layers of meaning together. And then just when you think you're starting to get the cosmic scope of his vision, he brings it back down to earth with a jolt.
You mean the lines where he talks about humanity being in deluge, fighting over fossil fuels and food?
Exactly. It's such a stark contrast to the earlier imagery of cosmic harmony. Like he's reminding us that even as we're pondering these grand philosophical ideas, we have real and urgent problems right here, right now.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that our actions matter and that we can't lose sight of the challenges facing humanity. It also connects back to those themes of perception and reality. How we choose to see these problems and how we choose to respond to them will decide what happens to us.
There's a lot to think about, but that's what makes Lunar Deluge such a compelling piece of art.
Yeah.
It pushes us to think deeply about ourselves, our place in the universe, and our responsibility to each other and the planet.
And to do it in a way that's both intellectually stimulating and musically engaging. It's hard to do both, but Canibus pulls it off.
It really does, and there's so much more to unpack.
Yeah.
We've only scratched the surface of this lyrical labyrinth.
Absolutely. We've got some fascinating stuff ahead where Canibus digs even deeper into the power of words and the nature of reality itself. Picking up where we left off, I think that juxtaposition of these global problems against this backdrop of this vast cosmic landscape, it really highlights how complex Canibus's message is. It's not just about thinking about these big abstract ideas. It's about understanding how those ideas relate to our lives and the decisions we make.
Yeah, it's like he's saying he can't get lost in the stars and ignore the real issues we face here on Earth. And he really doesn't let us off easy. When he asks, what is the point of thought if you cannot control the result?
Oh man, that line is a tough one. It really gets to the heart of this classic philosophical debate about determinism and free will. You know, are our choices already made for us, or do we really have a say in how our lives turn out? Cannabis doesn't give us an easy answer, but he definitely forces us to think about it.
And he doesn't just talk about it in theory. He connects it to his own life as a rapper. When he
Right.
talks about rhyming with consistence and presenting indisputable evidence repeatable on the street or in a studio session, it's almost like he's drawing this parallel between the laws of physics that govern the universe and the skill and precision it takes to write his lyrics.
Oh, yeah. There's a really interesting connection there. He's suggesting that both science and art are expressions of this deeper order, this hidden harmony that connects everything.
Hmm.
And the way he emphasizes how physical his craft is, lung-splitting, tongue-twisting sentence ever historically recorded, it highlights how much effort and thought goes into his words.
He's not just messing around with words. He's using them as tools to shape reality, to communicate meaning with precision and impact. And he directly invites the listener into this process, telling them to listen, to make the connection.
That's such an important point. He's not just talking at us. He's creating a conversation. He wants us to actively engage with his words, try to understand them, and even participate in creating meaning. It reminds me of how physicists talk about the observer effect, the idea that just by observing something, you can change the outcome of an experiment. It's like Canibus is saying that by listening, we can actually influence the meaning of his words.
That's a really cool way to think about it. It makes listening so much more active. You're not just sitting back and taking it all in. You're actually building meaning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what he said about how our perception is limited. He's reminding us that reality isn't some fixed thing. It's something we actively create through how we interact with the world.
And he challenges us to be aware of the illusions we create, the stories we tell ourselves, and the things that distract us from seeing clearly. Like when he asks, what is all this worth if you're chasing a silhouette? It's a powerful reminder to think about our values, what drives us, and what we choose to spend our time and energy on.
It's a call to be genuine, to cut through the surface and get to what truly matters. And he ties us back to the state of humanity. Talking about the world in deluge, fighting over fossil fuels and food. It's as if he's saying that our tendency to chase illusions, our short-sightedness and greed are leading us down a dangerous path.
That's a pretty sobering thought, but it's also a call to action. He's not just identifying the problems. He's pushing us to find solutions to wake up and build a world that's more just and sustainable.
And he suggests that music, with its ability to connect us, inspire us, and make us feel deeply, could be a tool for this kind of change. Remember, he said that at the beginning of the universe, sound was the only thing living. Maybe music holds the key to unlocking deeper truths about ourselves and the world.
It really makes you think about how music can go beyond borders, evoke emotions, and create these shared experiences that bring people together.
And if we go back to the beginning of this deep dive where Canibus blurred the lines between dreams and reality, it makes you wonder, could music be a way to connect those different realms? To tap into deeper levels of awareness and unlock hidden potential?
Wow, that's a really deep thought. It speaks to how powerful art can be. It can challenge how we see things, make us more aware, and help us connect with something bigger than ourselves. And Lunar Deluge really embodies all of that in a way that's both intellectually stimulating and emotionally moving.
Absolutely. But we're not done with our journey just yet. There's one more aspect of Lunar Deluge we should explore. The intricate wordplay and symbolism that Canibus uses to convey his message.
Oh yeah, we haven't even touched on all the metaphors and double meanings woven into the lyrics. There's a whole other level to unpack there.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where we'll pick things up in the last part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the specific language Canibus uses to build his unique sonic world and how those choices shape the overall meaning of the song.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into Lunar Deluge. We've been talking about how the song deals with perception and reality and the power of sound. But now I want to focus on the intricate wordplay and symbolism that make it so unique.
Oh yeah, Canibus is such a master of language. He uses it to create this really dense, multi-layered experience. It's not just about rhyming, it's about painting pictures with words evoking feelings and challenging how we see the world.
Yeah, right from the beginning he talks about needing special specs to see reality's special effects. It's a clever play on words right away, hinting that there's more than meets the eye and we need a new way of looking at things. What really jumps out at you about his use of language?
One thing that's really interesting is how he uses these scientific and technological terms, like deciphering the encryption, magnetic fields, pinging signals, and transmitting consciousness. It gives this feeling like he's tapping into some secret language, a code that unlocks these deeper truths about the universe.
It was like he's blending science and spirituality, ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology to create a new way of understanding reality. And he does it in a way that's both accessible and intellectually stimulating.
He also uses a lot of vivid imagery, often drawing from nature and the cosmos, like when he talks about the Milky Way spinning, life emerging from one light blinking, and elements smashing together like balls on a pool table. It helps to ground these abstract concepts in something we can actually visualize and relate to.
And it's not just the individual words, it's how he puts them together. The complex rhyme schemes, the internal rhymes, the alliteration, it creates this hypnotic flow that pulls you right into his world.
His use of rhythm and cadence is amazing too. You know how he speeds up and slows down his delivery? It creates this sense of tension and release that really keeps you engaged. It's like he's composing a symphony with words, carefully orchestrating every element to create a specific effect.
He definitely pushes the limits of language.
Yeah.
Bending and shaping it to his will. He even invents words like spit boss, which he uses to describe his alter ego. It's like he's building his own mythology, a universe where language itself is this powerful force.
And in doing that, he makes us question the nature of language. What power does it hold? How does it shape our understanding of the world? Can we use it to create new realities, to transcend our limitations?
Those are some deep questions.
Yeah.
And it's pretty mind-blowing that a hip-hop song can make us think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of art,
Yeah.
It can challenge how we see things, broaden our awareness, and make us think differently about the world.
Lunar Deluge is a perfect example of that. It's the kind of song that stays with you. It makes you keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep exploring. And the more you dig into it, the more you realize just how much depth and complexity there is to uncover.
It's like a puzzle box that keeps revealing new secrets with each turn. It's a real testament to Canibus's talent as a lyricist, that he can pack so much meaning into one song.
It reminds us that music can be more than just entertainment. It can be a way to explore these profound ideas, to challenge our assumptions, and to expand how we understand ourselves and the universe.
I couldn't agree more. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Lunar Deluge, I'm curious, what stuck with you the most? What insights are you taking away from this?
For me, it's that reminder that reality isn't this fixed objective thing. It's something we actively create through our perceptions and how we interpret things.
No.
Canibus challenges us to question those perceptions, to look deeper, and consider that there might be hidden layers of meaning.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
And the way he uses language to express those ideas is just brilliant. He's a master of wordplay and symbolism. His lyrics are such a source of inspiration and challenge.
It's been great unpacking this complex and thought-provoking song with you.
Same here. And to everyone listening out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Keep those ears open, those minds engaged, and never stop exploring the world around you with curiosity and a critical eye. Until next time, stay curious, fellow deep divers.